Hello, welcome back to Sorare Assist. Adam here, and today I'm going to be carrying on my World Cup scouting series. Today I'm going to be concentrating on the World Cup Group D. I have already covered A, B and C previously, the previous groups on this video, on this channel, so do check them if you've not seen them already. If you like this video, smash the like button and subscribe to the channel. If you've not signed up to Sorare yet, sign up using the link below to get a free limited card and 13 common cards. Also check out my Patreon as well and SorareAssist.com. Okay guys, let's get stuck into today's content. So as I say, today I'm going to be highlighting the best players from Group D in the upcoming World Cup at Qatar. I've already covered Group A, B and C previously on this channel, so do check those videos out if you've not seen them already. I'm also going to be looking at the group favourites and the odds as well for the teams in this group, and I'm going to be picking my best SO5 World Cup Group D team from the selections today. So let's get stuck into it then, guys. As always, by looking at the groups, by looking at the teams in this group and see who the favourites are. So here we are then, these are all the teams in Group D. As you can see, France is the favourite here, followed closely by Denmark. Well, I say closely, France are actually the odds-on favourite here by the looks of things. And then we've got Tunisia and Australia as well, who look like they've not got much hope of escaping this group. I think Denmark and France are obviously going to dominate this one. France more so. I think they're going to have a really good tournament again. And this should be an easy group to win for them. So, let's have a look at the players that I've gone for from these teams then. Thing to note that I've not actually managed to find any decent players from Tunisia. Don't think that's no surprise. There's a couple of players from Australia and the rest of the players are made up from Denmark and France. So let's get stuck in then, starting with goalkeepers, then I'll move on to defenders, midfielders and forwards. And then finally, I'll pick out my dream team from all these players, my dream SO5 team. So, in terms of the goalkeeper, I've gone for Hugo Lloris of France and Tottenham. I think this was an easy choice really. He's obviously a veteran goalkeeper, very experienced, and I expect him to potentially keep some clean sheets in the upcoming World Cup. Look at his scores then. Over the last year he's played 6 games, kept 2 clean sheets, 55.8 average, which isn't too bad really for a goalkeeper. Moving on to defenders then, and the first one I've gone for is actually an Australian player, so this could be a cheap potential player for the upcoming World Cup if you are an Australian fan, and that is Trent Sainsbury, who now plays for Al Wakra in the Stars League. Now, I don't know what that league is, to be honest. Is that in Qatar, potentially? Not sure. Do let me know in the comment section below if you know what league that is. But in terms of Australia, he's not been doing too bad, really. He's got some decent scores. He's started 8 games in the last year for them. He's got 55.4 average. So, looking a fairly decent, cheap budget option if you are on a tight budget. So, another defender that I've gone for is Joachim Mæhle of Atalanta and Denmark. Very decent defender internationally, this guy. As you can see, in the last year he started 10 games for Denmark, scored 3 and also assisted 3. Very attacking defender for Denmark, this player. Potentially a really good one for your fantasy teams as well, if you are looking to enter any fantasy tournaments in the upcoming World Cup. He's got an average of 61.5 as well in the last year, which is an absolutely fantastic average really for a defender, looking a fairly decent price. Moving on to another defender then, and this time it's another player for Denmark who plays for Barcelona, and that is Andreas Christensen. Previously of Chelsea, as you can see in the last year, he's actually started 8 games for Denmark, got some really decent scores as well with an AA of 27.1, and he's got an average of 62.1 in the last year in those 8 games. So again, he's looking at another decent option for Denmark in defence. Another decent option for Denmark in defence is Simon Kjær of Milan. Now, as you can see, he's started 5 games in the last year for Denmark. He's also scored as well. He's got an average of 53.8, so he's another potential option in the Denmark defence. Moving on to France now then, and I've gone for Raphael Varane of Manchester United as the French option in defence. Now, in the last year, he's actually started 4 of the games. He's got 55.1 average and 20.1 all-round score. He is now a regular for Manchester United, so I do expect him to make this year's World Cup. He's been on fantastic form. Moving on to the midfielders then, and the first one I've gone for is an Australian player, and that is Ajdin Hrustic of Hellas Verona. He's playing his trade in the Italian Serie A now. I think he was playing in the Bundesliga previously, wasn't really getting that much game time, but he's always been a consistent starter for Australia. In the last year he started 7 games for them and scored 2 goals. He's also got a 53.4 average, so he's a potential good option, especially when they play Tunisia in the group stages. He could then potentially pick up some decent points. Another good option in midfield is Christian Eriksen of Manchester United and Denmark. He's obviously been on fantastic form for Manchester United and he's always on fantastic form for Denmark, and it's going to be good to see him returning to a big tournament. So obviously we knew what happened in the last tournament he was in, but it looks like he's back to health now, playing fantastic football again. In the last year he's played 5 games for Denmark, he scored 1 goal, 1 assist, he's got 52 average score as well in terms of his SO5 scores. He is going to be the key man for Denmark. He's going to take in the corners and free kicks, I would think. He's going to be the creative spark in that team, like he is for Manchester United. Another good option in midfield is Paul Pogba. Now I say a good option, if he can get over his injury concerns, then we'll see if he does make the France squad. But we know he can perform for France. For club, is not really that great, but for country, he seems to be performing well. He of course now plays for Juventus, not actually made a debut for them yet, because he was injured when he signed for Juventus. But if you look in the last year, he's actually played 2 games for France, that was due to injury. But we do know he is certainly capable of some good performances for France, so it might be a decent option. Moving on to the forwards then, I've got Andreas Skov Olsen of Club Brugge and Denmark. Now this guy has been doing really well at club level, and he's doing well for Denmark as well. In the last year he's started 9 games, 4 goals and 1 assist and 55.9 average as well over the last year. So this could be another potential good option if you are a Denmark fan. So moving on to the next forward then, and the player I've gone for is Kylian Mbappe. The World Cup winner is coming to another World Cup now. We'll see if he performs, and I'm sure he will, and I'm sure that he's going to be getting plenty of goals. He of course plays for PSG, signed a big contract with them recently, which was in all the news. Now if you look at the last year, he's actually started 8 games for France, scored 9 goals and assisted 4. He's got an average of 72.1 in his last 8 games for France. So as you can see, these numbers are absolutely brilliant, and I expect him to have a fantastic tournament for France, but he's coming at a hefty price. Player that's slightly cheaper in the French ranks is Karim Benzema of Real Madrid. Now in the last year for France he's actually started 6 games and he's also got 6 goals. I expect him to be at the tournament, and I expect him to be getting the goals as well in the Qatar World Cup in November. He's got an average of 65.5 for France as well over the last year, which is absolutely fantastic. Final forward I've gone for France is Antoine Griezmann of Atletico Madrid. Now he's not really getting first team football at Atletico Madrid. He seems to be in and out of the side. He has been like that for the last few years, but he does always perform for France, especially in a big tournament like this. So in the last year he started 8 games for France, scored 1 goal, 2 assists. He's also won a penalty as well in the last year. He has got some decent scores as well, and a 53.6 average. But at a tournament like the World Cup, I do expect him to get some game time, and he could be potentially on the score sheet a few times for France as well. So that was all the selections that I've gone for in Group D for the upcoming World Cup. Now I'm going to pick out my best SO5 team from these players that I've selected today. So here it is. Here's my dream team for Group D in the upcoming World Cup. As you can see, I've gone for a France stack in defence. I think that made the most sense. Lloris in goal and Varane in defence. In terms of midfield, I was debating between Eriksen and Pogba, but I think Eriksen is the standout option here. I could have gone for an all-France squad, but I decided on Eriksen because I'm pretty sure he's going to get plenty of assists and goals for Denmark, and they could even qualify from this group as well, so I think he's a solid option. Now up front I've gone for Kylian Mbappe, again an obvious choice, and I've also gone for Benzema over Griezmann, who was probably the next best after Benzema. But as you can see, this is a decent stack here of pretty much all France, but I think Eriksen is definitely going to get some assists and goals at this year's World Cup, so I thought he was a better choice in midfield over Paul Pogba. Okay guys, so that is the end of this video. So that is Group D covered. On the next video I'm going to be covering Group E, picking out my best players again and picking my best SO5 team from those players in Group E. As I say, I've already covered the other groups, Group A, B, C, so make sure you do check them if you've not seen them already. For the next video, smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. If you've not signed up to Sorare yet, sign up using the link below to get a free limited card and 13 common cards. Also check out my Patreon as well for regular scouting on there and SorareAssist.com. And make sure you stick around to the channel because, as I say, I will have some more World Cup group analysis coming up over the next few weeks. Okay guys, thanks for watching as always, and I'll see you again soon.